Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 11,000 and Counting podcast. It is I, your host, once again, Alec to my virtual left, as always, Matthew Watson, the highest, the fastest rising Philly sports writer, I think, on the scene right now. I'm going to put that tag out there for him right now because I
Hey,
feel like it, and no
hey,
one's going
yo,
to challenge me on it, so.
sign me up. I like that. We're starting out hot. How are we doing tonight?
Listen, it was better until the Braves decided to drop a 5 spot.
Dude, I don't think anybody's beating them. Straight up.
We'll see. The postseason is a different beast than the regular season. I I need to see it to believe it. Um, am I scared of them? Yes, absolutely. Like absolutely, I am scared of the Atlanta Braves.
They,
Like
they're
I'm
just
gonna admit
rolling.
that.
They are rolling everybody and not looking back. Like, although I will say they should have swept the doubleheader. I cannot believe that
Oh
Alvarado
yeah,
gave up those runs, but it is what
I
it is.
yeah, it's you know It's annoying, but they
Hmm.
did win 1 out of 2 against the best team in baseball. This is a 4-game series that they're in the middle of, so a split is fine if, that's the way it goes.
But they
But
have to split them. Like they have to win tomorrow. Because
no, they have to.
If the Braves clinch on our home field, I'm going to be sick.
Oh, it's gonna bring me back memories of when the Nationals clinched at
Yeah, I
Citizens
can't.
Bank Park.
The only people who should be celebrating at Citizens Bank Park are the Philadelphia frickin' Phillies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't even know why the clubbies would even accommodate them. They shouldn't. Well, then again, I say that and look at what the Astros did for the Phillies before,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
last
different.
season.
That's different.
Anyway, yeah, I guess, but still, it's annoying. Um, but yeah, they're a really great team. They are probably one of the best offenses we've seen since maybe like the '97 Indians. Um, I honestly couldn't think of anyone specific that besides murderers row in 27, but let's not get that far. They need to win the World Series before they get those comparisons. Right now they get 97 Indians comparisons, but I mean the Phillies are a great team too. It's just I don't
We're a
know,
good team. I don't know if I want to call them a great team.
the potential to be a great team
Potential's there,
and a
but
good team right now.
yes, definitely good. It's just, man, they're just like I know last year at this time we were stressed about them making the playoffs, and I really don't have that fear currently. But it just feels like with the talent that is on that field, like this year seems far better than last year's team on paper, and you're kind of getting the same results. Now, if it results in another World Series appearance, I'm good with that. But I don't know. If it just feels like they're kind of limping to the finish line yet again.
Yeah, it's not great. We all saw that we were going to have to face the Braves 7 times on the road to getting to the postseason. So it's something to worry about, and that's why they need to split this series. The Cubs are right behind the Phillies, even though the Cubs are a far inferior team than I believe the Phillies to be. But
Yeah, man. They're
eh,
they're right on our tail. The Diamondbacks are heating up again too. We're not that far ahead of Arizona. Like,
I still think it's fine. I don't think there's going to be a problem. Um, I don't know. It would just be an epic collapse if it actually happened.
well, the Phillies are known for being epic and well, not always in the good sense of the word, but I don't know. I mean, it's been a minute since we've done one of these, but I think there's a whole lot of positives that
Oh yeah,
we could be throwing out there, despite the fact they're getting smacked around by the Braves right now.
I would have been fine had we started this podcast an inning ago.
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
this would not have started. You know what? I got so distracted. You know what I forgot to say?
The loss counter.
The current loss counter for your Philadelphia Phillies sits at 11,252. Probably 53 by the end of the night.
Hooray!
Yay. Yay. And listen, we couldn't keep doing the podcast if there weren't losses. So,
Well, we could just cut one intro and then copy and paste it over and over. They don't have to lose.
well, we'll see. I'm more upset about how the Marlins series happened last week.
Mhm.
The Phillies felt like they should have easily won 2 out of 3 and somehow left with going 1-2 against the Marlins, emphasizing the Marlins, losing the season series to the Marlins. It's annoying. Okay, let's talk about something positive because let's not bum ourselves out. We're still in the top wild card spot. We're in the playoff race. We're probably getting into playoffs,
Mhm.
regardless of what happens. And hey, if we drop to the 6th seed, that's probably actually better than being like the 5th seed. I think there's a discussion there for that.
I could see that. I obviously don't want to be the fifth seed because honestly, the way last year's playoff played out, the first year of the six teams in each conference, or yeah, conference, whatever, each league, the sixth seed was more valuable than the five seed, in my opinion. Like,
I think so too, because usually your top wild card team is better than the worst division winner.
yeah,
Usually. This year it's probably about even. The Brewers have been pretty good recently, so we'll see what they do. I wouldn't really want to face the Brewers in
mm-mm,
Milwaukee for
no,
a 3-game set. I'd rather, face off against the Cubs in Wrigley or the Diamondbacks in Chase. Well, no, we don't.
it would
That's a
be.
house of horrors for the Phillies.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, if they do have the tiebreaker, which helps,
Yeah, no, but the Cubs, I think I'd be comfortable going into Wrigley.
I
I
do as well.
think.
Just
Anyway,
yeah. Anyway,
a good point to bring up. Kyle Schwarber's hitting over 200. He,
hooray!
he might not he might not by the end of the night, but before today's game, he was hitting 201.
Kyle Schwarber, nice guy. Attended his charity event Sunday night. If you haven't seen that, check out my Twitter at Matt Watson PSN. Shameless plug.
Yeah, we'll have to hear a few highlights of that after I tell you about how since August 18th, he's hitting 313 with a 482 on base percentage and an 819 slugging percentage. He's 13 home runs in 23 games and 27 walks. He has 26 hits, so half of his hits are home runs.
Oh, it's my favorite bit of the Philly season. Honestly, it's will Schwarber finish with more home runs than singles, which is
I
crazy to think about when you really sit down and think about it. The fact that if you said this guy has more home runs than singles, you would think, wow, what a monster year. And I'm not saying Schwarber's having a bad year. He's just by all accounts having a pretty solid season, depending on your age. I would say it really depends on how you view Schwarber's season, but oh
he
man, the single counter game is so much fun.
he's having a weird season. Like
Mhm.
it's good. Like you can't deny that many home runs is a good thing. But let me put it in this perspective. He is both there's a good chance that he is going to break 2 franchise records. He the strikeout record with he could break the all-time walk record for the Phillies. We're talking about Lenny Dykstra in 93 had 129 walks in 161 games. Schwarber has 116 right now. So he is only 13 walks away from tying that franchise record. That's why, even though he's hitting 200, he's getting on base about 33% of the time. Like, if he didn't have those walks, we'd be talking about a big problem. So, yeah, Kyle Schwarber's having a good season. It's just really weird. It doesn't make sense almost. Like, he has a 909 OPS since June 2nd. And over 900 OPS for the majority of the season.
It's pretty elite.
It is, but at the same time, it's framed around utter nonsense. I don't know what to think about it. It's wild, and I'm just kind of enjoying it, to be honest.
It is pretty awesome. I don't want to call myself an average truther, but I still value batting average, I would say more than most people do.
I would say I would do as well.
Like looking at a guy hitting 200, to me, you could see that he's doing damage when he puts the ball in play, but that's still saying that in 1,000 at bats, he's gonna only put the ball in play, or he's only gonna get hit 200 times. Like that 800 times he's going to get out. So like basic math there for you. But when he does put the ball in play and it's a hit, it's usually very impactful. But just sometimes it's just the struggle of getting those hits. That is my big thing with that. But like he doesn't even necessarily have to hit for average. Like I would like it to be higher than 200. I know it's just like, finally surpassed the 200 mark. If he was hitting 220, 230, I could live with that. I would like it to be in that range more like last year. He was in that range last year, and I thought he was a really good hitter last year. Um, but like on a team with Bryce Harper and Trea Turner and Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm and Brandon Marsh. Those are the guys who I am more concerned with their batting average. If Schwarber's hitting 40 home runs, I can live with a 200 batting average. He's going to break 100 RBIs this season. Like they're he is serving his value. They paid him to be a power bat, and that is what he's doing. His WAR, his defense really brings down his overall WAR, but his batting WAR has been fantastic. If he was an everyday DH, if Harper was completely healthy, I think his value would be even higher than what we're seeing right now. So, it's a shame that he's kind of gotten jostled around with the whole Bryce injury stuff the last couple of years, but he's taken it like a trooper. You haven't heard him complain one time about having to play left field. When he is out there, if he makes a mistake, he owns it. Like he doesn't hide behind it. He doesn't say, "Well, I'm not supposed to be out here." He says, "I should have made that play." You know, and he's a true leader on and off the field. So I'm very happy with our three stars right now between Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. I could not be happier with the way they're playing right now.
So let me pose this question to you. Would you rather have 2022 Kyle Schwarber on your team or 2023 Kyle Schwarber? Because Kyle Schwarber this year is probably going to match that amount of home runs or even surpass it. He's at 43, hit 46 last year. He actually is getting on base about 2.6% more this season than he was last season, although his overall OPS was higher last year and OPS plus was higher. So
Hmm.
who are you taking? Are you taking 2022 Schwarber or 2023?
I might take 2022 Schwarber, just because while the RBIs are higher this year, I do think the fact
Actually,
that
they're tied.
well they will be higher.
Oh yeah, they will be. Yeah.
Um, but like the RBIs will be higher. But then again, the bottom of the lineup last year was not what it was this year. So in theory, there's more RBI, there's more guys on for him, stuff like that. And plus, I think Schwarber, his the way he carried them last year when Bryce went down versus he was hot in June again and July, like the midsummer months, he was really hot again. And like you said, he's been really hot since June. But I think the Schwarber we saw last year was so dynamic that I would probably put him in this line. Like it's not like a leap by any means, but I think I might take 2022 Schwarber. Plus, I know what I'm getting in the playoffs, which is a little cheeky on my end. We'll see what he does in this year's playoffs, but he's proven in his career he's a great playoff hitter, so I expect him to do well again. But I might take 2022 Schwarber, but it's not. It's maybe like 55-45. It's not
Yeah,
that big.
it's same for me but opposite. Like I would go 23 Schwarber because I'm liking the patience a little bit more. Looking at his baseball reference page, the one side effect of him not hitting as much and walking more, he's grounded into six less double plays.
We take
Like,
those.
yeah, yeah. So another positive from a negative. So, but yeah, as you said, it's very close. But something interesting. Let's go to a positive in the bullpen. Jeff Hoffman is a certified stud. Like he has just come from being an awful starter in the major leagues to all of a sudden being a great right-handed reliever. so far this year, he's sitting at a 2.3 ERA in 47 inning pitch. That's with 64 strikeouts, a 0.894 whip, like way under one. Excellent numbers. His 1.8 B WAR is higher than his entire career 1.5 B WAR. And he's been around.
Yes, and he was a starter.
He was. He is the best strikeout to walk ratio of his career by a large margin. We're talking about 4 versus 2.22. Like, he's been excellent. And you dig even further, since June 24th, he is a 1.71 ERA. And the FIP backs it up. He's at a 2.16 FIP in that time, and batters aren't even hitting him. He's hitting opposing hitters are hitting 120 off of him in that time span. Like, he's been excellent.
Mm-hmm. He really has. Yeah, I honestly would go as far as saying Game 7 of the World Series right now, there are only two guys in the Phillies pen I would put in before Hoffman to get a save. It'd be Kimbrel, it'd be Alvarado, and then it's Hoffman. In my
I
opinion,
would agree.
like
I would agree.
you have to take. I think he's hotter than Kimbrel and Alvarado right now, but you have to take Kimbrel's track record and Alvarado's stuff into account. But he's been better than Soto, who I would say I'm a little disappointed with what we got out of Soto this year. Still think we won that trade, but I was hoping for more. Sir Anthony Dominguez, man, has probably been the biggest disappointment of 2023. Like you want to talk about, like Jeff Hoffman might be the biggest surprise, and there's a couple different guys you could say had the biggest surprise, like best season in terms of what you expected versus what they actually produced. Um, but like Hoffman is getting the ball over to Dominguez in a tight situation at this point. Like he's just earned it. Dominguez is not. And this is just another example, yet again, of Dave Dombrowski improving at the margins, finding a guy that no other team saw value in, giving him a chance, and then obviously Rob Thompson you have to give credit for one. He was putting Hoffman in high leverage situations like right
Hoffman
away.
has a save this year.
Yeah, like Thompson did not fear putting him in a big spot, and basically every time Hoffman has come through. He's got great stuff. And I feel very comfortable with him on the mound right now. For every like the bullpen has been awful, in my opinion, the last 3 weeks. Like I made a tweet, a kind of sarcastic tweet, but I was like, they're giving 2020 Phillies bullpen right now because
Ooh.
no lead has been safe.
Can't
And they're
even
giving
go to 21.
2020.
Like 21 was bad too. 2020, that was different.
It was different, but the Phillies were also like if I remember correctly, that season the Phillies had like the most runs in the first inning of any team in baseball. Like they had gotten out to a lead in practically every game, and they had a losing record at the end of the year because the bullpen
All I
could not hold it.
remember from that season, just to emphasize how bad the bullpen is, was that doubleheader against the Blue Jays, where they blew multiple run leads in both games, including like a 6-run lead. Like, just absolutely atrocious. I don't even remember the guys they got from Boston at this point because I purged them from my memory.
Brandon
But
Workman
oh God, you had to say his name.
and Heath Hembry, I believe, was
Yeah, it
there.
was.
I used Brandon Workman in the Immaculate Grid the other day.
Brandon Workman is the worst relief pitcher I think I have ever seen, especially for someone who had like a 2 ERA the year before. Just absolutely garbage fire. Anyway, Hoffman, great.
Thumbs up, stamp of approval.
So, but I think it does go to show like Dombrowski's scouting department is excellent. I think what they really saw came from April 12th to July 12th last year, where Hoffman actually started to show some success as a reliever. In that 3-month span, he pitched 39 and a third innings pitched and had a 2.75 ERA, like a really good bullpen arm.
Mm-hmm.
So Dombrowski is one of the best baseball minds for a reason. He finds those guys.
Might
Yeah.
be low key. I know we signed Bryce Harper. I know we signed Zach Wheeler. It might be the best signing in the last 50 years of the Phillies. Signing
Ooh.
Dave Dombrowski to run
Oh,
this team.
Dombrowski. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you meant
yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
Hoffman.
No, not Jeff
I
Hoffman.
was
No, 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 no,
like,
no.
ooh.
Love Jeff, but not going that far. No, Dave Dombrowski because he didn't even necessarily want to come here. He wanted to head up the expansion team in Nashville, and John Middleton had to pry him away from that. And that's not even something that was guaranteed, but it's like a passion project of Dombrowski's. And Middleton had to pull him away from that and say, "Dude, I need you to come run the Phillies." And in his short tenure here, like I will admit, when they
His
first,
first
well,
move was getting Alvarado, wasn't it?
I do believe that was his first move. I believe you're correct on that. Yeah, like when they added it, like when they signed him, I was like, oh no, because of his track record. But I was like, okay, if they can get to the playoffs and get to win a World Series, I'm cool with burning the farm system. I do think he's learned from that, and he's held off on dealing some top prospects. And the Phillies farm system, and it's not ranked very highly, but I think it's vastly improved over the last couple of years. But anyway, Dave Dombrowski, you are a saint. Thank you for coming to Philadelphia, and thank you for the work that you are continuing to put in, because guys like Jeff Hoffman are the reason why we're gonna make another run at the World Series.
God bless. God bless. But anyway, going to the starting rotation, let's ignore tonight because Zach Wheeler was really doing well. He had a great stretch coming into this game. He just ran into one really bad inning.
Buzzsaw
And
of the Atlanta
yeah,
Braves.
hey, listen, coming into this game, he had a 1.047 whip, and that led all of the National League. A 3.49 ERA isn't his best, but a 3.5 ERA is pretty solid. You take that.
No, you
And
do.
his last nine starts is really where he started to show that he is the clear ace of the staff. He had a 2.45 ERA, and batters were only hitting 184 against him. You know, even though he's not having the best season, he has the highest K rate since his 2021 should have been Cy Young award.
Mm.
He's at 10.2% or 10.2 per 9 innings versus 10.4. Again, that's before coming into tonight. I'm not sure exactly where he's at now, but really a good time for Wheeler to get on track and really showing what he can do coming and getting ready for the postseason.
Wheeler is going to get Cy Young votes this year. That's it's not an if, it's a when. He's not going to win
Yeah,
the award, but
he'll get
he'll
maybe
probably
at
finish.
best.
He'll finish top five in award
Do you
voting.
think top five? At least
Top
top
five.
10. Like, yeah, top 10 at least.
I
Do
think
you
top five.
really? Okay. I
Justin
think
Steele's going to win. Snell will finish second. Strider will finish third. Wheeler has a case for fourth, but Logan Webb still also had a really nice year for the
don't
Giants.
forget what's his face with the Braves?
Freed.
Well, Fried and Strider. Strider is
Well,
who
I
I
said
really
Strider
need because
third.
Fried hasn't pitched much this year.
No, yeah, I had Strider at third
Oh,
or
you did
ranked
say
third.
Strider.
Yeah,
Oh,
Strider at
okay.
third. So
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So I think Justin Steele of the Cubs will win the award. So if you're betting on that, if he's not already favored, I mean, regardless, I'd hop on that. But yeah, man, I love what Wheeler's doing, and he's just so consistent. Like this might not
Mhm.
be his best year. I think 2021 was just. I don't know if I don't know. I don't consider that an outlier, but I think that was his best season by far, and I don't expect that from him necessarily. But I
Last
think
year he was great too,
yeah, he was. He
and
was.
2020.
Yeah, he's been a
So
phenomenal Philly, and I'm
he has
very
been.
pleased with him. He's very consistent. You know what you're
He's
getting
getting
out of
on the
him.
Wall of Fame one day.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Um, I love that we poached him from the Mets,
Mm,
but he's
tasty.
just a model of consistency in a time where the Phillies the Phillies rotation has had stretches up where they're the best rotation in baseball, but they've also had stretches where they're like the worst rotation in baseball. And I don't mean that like I'm not trying to exaggerate that. Like there was a period of time when like every starter had like above 4.5 ERA this season, and then there's been times like in I think it was June and July where Taiwan Walker and Ranger Suarez were like lighting everybody up when Wheeler and Nola
Yeah.
couldn't get going. Like
Well,
when
it just as an example, Ranger Suarez and Chris Sanchez, you know how many wins they have between each other?
two,
4. They each have 2.
yeah,
Yeah, that's in
it's
like 34 starts.
don't even
Like
get me started with Christopher Sanchez. I'm so tired of seeing him dominate through 5 innings and they get pulled for no reason.
I get that his innings total is coming up, or at least already has come up, to be fair. So, and they're seeing something this season that he's never done because he used to walk so many guys. Like control was his biggest issue, and somehow this season he's found it at the big league level. So I kind of get where the Phillies are coming from and like trying to make sure they give this the best chance possible to continue into next season. So in one half I get it, in the other half I'm like, come on, please. I've got that over 88 and a half wins.
I have 80. Yeah, I have 80.5 too, and I don't think they're gonna get there.
It'll be close,
It's
and
gonna be
I'm
very
scared.
close. I am too. I threw 50 beans on that one.
Oh,
But
so did I. Same.
yeah.
Same
So
exact.
we're in this one together. But the thing with Sanchez for me is that he's not gonna start for you in the playoffs. As
No.
he kind of deserves to, but he's not going to. You're paying a lot of money for to Taiwan Walker, and I think Suarez is gonna get the nod over Lorenzen as well. So like your four is going to be Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, and Walker.
So I
Sanchez will be out
I
of the pen.
actually have a hot take.
Okay.
If if Walker does get a playoff start, my hot take is use an opener because he has been one of the worst first inning pitchers I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like I don't know if it would help at all, but I'm just saying, why not give it a shot?
Yeah. Well, you could
If it
start
got
one of
yeah.
those other guys, give him an inning or two.
Yeah,
You
you
go,
could
you
start
go.
Chris Sanchez for two
Yeah.
innings, then go to a righty, so you're switching that up too,
Yeah, you go
changing up
Walker
the
for
lineup. Yeah.
4 innings, maybe 4 or 5 innings. Now you're
Yeah,
sitting in
then
the
you're in the
seventh.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
nah, it could work, and I'm sure that's something the Phillies will explore. And I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen before the playoffs, like because I think,
Given an experiment run. I mean, also,
yeah.
yeah, Lorenzen and Sanchez are probably moving to
hmm
piggyback off of each other soon.
Yeah. Well, Topper said after the doubleheader yesterday that they're going to go back to a 5-man rotation. So one of those guys is going to get chopped. And if they're so concerned about Sanchez's innings, he'll probably be the first. But
Well,
Lorenzen's
Lorenzen's,
passed. He's
yeah,
passed his too. So, and he's been significantly worse. I at the trade deadline, I gave them a C minus. And I know Lorenzen threw the no hitter, and that was such an awesome moment. And everybody was so hype about that. But I still feel validated in my ranking
I'd give him a
because
C. I'd give him a C plus now.
I nah, still C minus for me. Rodolfo Castro has been a zero, and that's
Right,
generous.
yes. No, I keep forgetting he's even on the roster, and they're only doing that because
Yes,
they can manipulate his options for next year too.
correct, and
Even though
it's
he's
a joke.
probably not a future piece, but
No,
whatever.
I don't get it. Just bring up Weston Wilson and let's compete, please. Like Castro is just he's just eating up a bench spot. He's not
No, he
contributing.
is. He is. But so from going to the best starter in our rotation, um, let's go to what not to do in a contract year. Uh,
Dude.
since blanking the St. Louis Cardinals over 7 innings and retiring like 22 batters in a row, Aaron Nola has an 11 ERA in 9 innings pitched. He's allowed hitters to have a 366 batting average against him. Overall, since May 25th, he has a 4.83 ERA and 23 home runs allowed. Uh, he's got the lowest K per nine of his career outside of his rookie 13 games started at 9.4. He is the highest home run per nine, point 0.3 higher than in 2021. And oh, yeah, in 2021, his ERA was a hundredth of a point lower than it was this year.
I ruined Aaron Nola.
It, listen, do you want to hear the weirdest thing that I kind of found that I haven't heard anybody mention about while I was kind of digging through Aaron Nola stats?
What do you got?
So, every single season where Aaron Nola has 30 plus starts, he is hit at least 7 batters.
Okay.
Would you like to guess how many batters he's hit this year?
Oh,
Give me a number.
feel like you're setting me up to go higher, so I'm gonna go lower. 4.
One.
Oh,
He's hit one batter all year. So I don't know if that could be a thing where he's not kind of getting inside enough to really set up the curveball and changeup, but I'm wondering if there's something to it because nobody's brought up the hit by pitches. I know it's probably grasping at straws because everybody's trying to figure out Aaron Nola, but all I'm saying is, hey, I might have found something.
No, look, hey man, that's actually honestly that's a really great pull. That tweet would bang, as the kids say.
It's going to go out next Nola start.
There you go. So I actually have a source within Major League Baseball, believe it or not.
Hmm.
And
Congrats.
thank you. This source has told me straight up that Aaron Nola, like everybody around the league is talking about Aaron Nola, and they've talked about how he'd be lucky to get 4 years on a deal this free agency. Like he'd be lucky to get a fourth year from a team.
Wow.
And that's incredible. Like this guy was probably going to sign for like
We
at
were
least
thinking 7.
5 years. Yeah,
We
like
were thinking 7.
at least five this offseason. And he'd be lucky to get four. Like he's probably going to get a 3 year deal, which is how inconsistent he's been.
Wow. I thought he was still going to get like 500.
Like a team might overpay. Like that's very possible. Like you might see a team who is like retooling and like I think he's going to go to the Cardinals personally. But you might see a team overpay him because starting pitching is so rare and he still eats innings
Yeah.
better than anybody. Like he will give you six no matter what. He might give up 4 runs in one inning, but he'll still give you six. So yeah, when I heard that, I was honestly stunned. And
Yeah, that's wild.
there's still plenty of time if he shows out for the rest of the month and has a good playoff starter too. Like that could definitely change the narrative. But as we're standing right now, like he's just his stock is dipping.
I mean, obviously, you can't ignore what's happening with Aaron Nola. But again, it's not entirely dissimilar to what we've seen from Aaron Nola in the past. Again, I bring up that 2021 season, and that's 3 years after his 2018 Cy Young candidate season.
Feels
And
so
then
long ago.
after that, he, what, 2022 last year, he had like the
Mhm.
lowest walk rate ever.
Finished fourth in Cy Young voting.
Yeah. And in 2020, it was like seventh.
Yeah.
So he's such a roller coaster of a player. It really is hard to determine that kind of value.
Hmm.
So I get it, but at the same time, I'd be shocked if nobody offers him 5 years, 100. That's 20 million a season for the things that he's done. It makes sense and is on the low end of what he should receive. Uh, that's what I'm kind of shocked about. And
Yeah.
plus, what names are in the free agent pitching market?
That's the other thing. Like Blake Snell has earned himself to be the number one guy in this class. Shohei can't pitch, so that like should increase Nola's value in theory. Um, but like there's just not a lot of names out there. And one thing I'm gonna throw out there is the Phillies signed Taiwan Walker this offseason. He's making $18 million a season. Like
Yeah,
you just throw out a number where Nola's only making 20. Like, and obviously Nola's better than Taiwan Walker, but like pitching is a premium, and that's the going rate. And like, I just don't know. You might get a team like Baltimore who needs a starter, and they might throw money at him, and they have a better field in terms of hope. Like their left field now is so hard to hit home runs that it might be a benefit to him. Citizens Bank Park is a batter's like a hitter's park, so
yeah, yeah, that's
that
true.
excuses his numbers a little bit, but still, man, like, and I think Nola is a really good pitcher, and when he is dialed in, there may only be a few guys better than him, but it just seems like he has just not turned that channel this year, and yeah, so that's where we're at with Nola right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Part of me wants to try to sell some of the farm to try to really bring in a starter, but I don't even know who to target at this point. It's going to be something to watch to the offseason, and we got a ton of time before that.
Hmm.
So,
Well, let's hope he turns it around.
exactly. So, before we end today, I did want to bring up one other really weird thing happening with the Phillies
Okay.
right now. I have written here home stunned question mark. Uh yeah, JT's home versus road splits have been really odd.
Hmm.
Like just And I think it's more coincidental than anything because it doesn't make sense. So, in 61 home games this year, and this is before tonight's game, JT Realmuto is slashing 192, that's batting average, 254 on base percentage, and a 315 slugging percentage. That's a 569 OPS.
Oof.
5 home runs. Now his away splits in 61 games, 309 batting average, 367 on base, 600 slugging percentage. That is a 957 OPS. That's almost 400 points more on the road.
That's insane.
It's such a weird split, and 13 home runs compared to 5 in the same amount of games.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially because, see, like I just said, Citizens Bank Park's a hitter-friendly park. Maybe it really is the kids. Maybe because he just maybe trying to get some sleep at night is really doing him in, like Rob Thompson said. I know he's saying that jokingly, but maybe there might be something to that.
I don't know, but like listen to what he did in 22 because it's the opposite. In 71 home games in 2022, he hit 314, a 368 on base percentage, and a 541 slugging, a 909 OPS, 12 home runs. Away games, 68 games, a 232 237 batting average, 316 on base, and 414 slug. So a 729. Not as extreme, but still completely flipped. And that's what makes me think this is just a weird coincidence of when he's been hot, when he's been cold.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy, but we love JT.
oh yeah,
I still think he might not be the best catcher in baseball anymore, but he's still right there.
he's up there.
He's up there.
But anyway, just had to share that last weird thing in, and we'll see where the Phillies finish up here. Hopefully strong, hopefully with another big push into the playoffs. Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, sweep the Cardinals and Bryson Stott's winning a Gold Glove at second base this year. That is all.
Yes, agreed. And everybody, go Phils.
Go Phils.